This is a demonstration of the Wi-Fi Thermostat Plus application for Windows Phone 7 and 8. It is an enhanced version of the free version. So we're going to start it up, and when the program first starts, you have to set up the location of your thermostat and some information like that, so you can so it comes up and says it doesn't have settings initialized, so it forwards you to that setting. So here you put in a location, the name of the location, address, city, state, country, and you can get the lat long from the address, or you use the GPS, and most people use the GPS because it's simpler, the GPS on your phone. After it's found your location, then you start getting stations, and these are weather stations. They come from Weather Underground, and we're getting them for Santa Cruz, California. And if you are outside of the US, you would put in city country instead of city state. And you can also add additional cities close to this area if you wanted a broader case. So you could put in Aptos, California, or whatever you wanted to do, say get stations again, and then you have the option to add them. After you've gotten the stations, you have to select which outside temperature station you want to use, and you usually pick one that's closest to your house, as long as it's, you know, getting it's got a good weather station and readings are reliable. Then also you go over to the solar, and there are fewer stations that actually have solar readings. So then you pick one with a solar reading that's close to your house. And for example, look at this one down here. It's only reading 39, so it might be in the shade or something. So this one was a good one, and it was right on the wharf. So we picked that, and we continue on. So now it says, well, you need to configure a thermostat. And it can be either a real one or a dummy one. If you don't have one for right now, you can create a dummy one, and then later on when you get one, you can use that. So you can put in the IP address of your thermostat, and we'll put a number in here and we'll start it. And you can use the external IP address if you set up your router for port forwarding and so on, but that's for advanced users. But that'll allow you to get external access to your thermostat by using port forwarding. And that's available on this application at this point. This takes 20 to 25 seconds because it's going out there to get heat and cold settings, and now it's been initialized, so now we can go back to the main page. So we've now got everything set up, and now it's showing your inside temperature reading at your thermostat. It's showing what it's programmed. You know, it's on the program setting of 66. Outside temperature, high-low is 61, 36, and that station we picked is showing a 56.1. Solar radiation of the station we picked is showing 484. And this is a degree day calculation, which is basically each hour you take the difference between 68 and what the forecasted temperature is and sum it all up. If it's negative, it means you have a net heating requirement. If it's a plus, you need a net cooling requirement. So now, looking down here, you can actually pin a thermostat, main floor, upstairs, whatever you have, to the front, and it shows that information, typical information about your inside, outside, and so on. And it keeps it current every 30 minutes. If you want to change your temperature, you can increase it and then hit the refresh button, and that will cause the heat to come on, and you will see whoops, we got an error from the thermostat. So let's see, let's get it up here. And now the heat has come on. And if you turn it back down or hit the program setting, it'll cause it to go back to the program setting. And you run it again. You'll then turn the heat back off. You can turn the fan on. If you hit this button, it'll cause the fan to go on continuously. If you hit this button, it'll cause the hold the temperature you currently have set. You can use the set away to cause it to go down to 50 if you're going to be away from the house, or maybe up to 90 if it's in the cooling season. And so that's pretty much it for the main page. Let's go to the program and away settings. On the free version, you couldn't save any changes you made to the settings. All you could do is look at what the current settings were. You'd have to manually change it on your thermostat. Here you can actually pick a setting and you can change the temperature to whatever you want, and you can change the time, and it changes in 15-minute increments, and then you could hit save, and whichever days you have selected here, it will actually update the settings for all those days. In this particular case, it sensed that you hadn't really changed anything, so it didn't go out and save it. Same thing with the cooling. You could do the same sort of situation here. And on the away settings, the defaults are 50 when you're away for heating and 90 for cooling. And you can change those and save them, which you couldn't do on the free version. The system just gives you information about your thermostat, what its version is, and that sort of thing, and information about your network. But this is more interesting, so we'll go to the weather stations because this is new. This is a new feature for the enhanced version. So this will show you all of the weather stations that were around your area, and you see we've got quite a few here. And it automatically turns on the ones that are within a certain number of miles from your house, and also any that have solar, it'll turn those on to true here. They'll be selected, and the ones down here farther along are turned off, and so those won't be shown on the map. If you wanted to turn one of them on, you would select it and then hold, and it'll turn it to true, and that selects it. So now then you want to see what these weather stations look like on the map. You hit the map setting, and it'll bring up a map with all of the weather stations that are in your area, in the Santa Cruz area, and then you can zoom in with pinch zoom or however you'd like, move it around. And then when you leave, it'll save your settings of the zoom and also the centering, so that if you come back, it'll show it like that. So let's go one more time to the map. I forgot to show one situation here. If you tap, you'll get the details about that particular weather station. This one happens to be on the Santa Cruz Wharf. It's a WeatherHawk type weather station. It shows you its location, its elevation, the distance from the house. In this particular case, we'd put a house on the wharf, and it shows you then all the temperature and rain, various sorts of things from that weather station. And then the final feature is logging. We haven't been running this very long, but as you run every 30 minutes, if your phone, has access to a Wi-Fi and power and that sort of thing, it will log information about your thermostat. It'll show the time of the log, what the target temperature was, what the inside temperature was, outside, high, low, watts per square meter, state of the heating system, whether the heat was on, the cooling was on, or it was off, whether it was being overridden, whether it was on hold, and what the fan setting was. And that's about it. That is it for the Wi-Fi Thermostat Plus. This little icon changes with the weather, and it also works out of the country. So thank you very much.